Man, I am so excited to be hanging out here today with my buddy Ben Lewis. How you doing, Ben?
I'm great. GatorMan, how you doing?
I've known Ben since before the GatorMan years and even before his musical years. I remember coming to your house. I don't know if you even remember that. I pulled out your guitar and played a song for me. I don't even remember which one it was, but you were just getting started.
Yeah, I forgot about that, man.
So
Those are good
yeah,
times.
Ben and I go way back, and it's just been a thrill to watch what he's been doing lately. Of course, you might know Ben as the bass player with Bishop Gunn. Before that, he was a working musician here in the Miss Lou, hitting them pretty hard and heavy. You had a couple of projects you did before Bishop Gunn.
Yeah. Well, I played bass with a band called In Red Letters
In Red
for a while
Letters.
with John Borum, Bob Busick, Aaron O'Brien, and then just did some solo stuff, just solo acoustic things, and then did some acoustic stuff with John and Matt Willis. I mean, we played together back in high school, and
Right.
and then I did some recording here in Natchez before the Bishop Gunn stuff started with Byrne in his studio on Homachita. So it took a long time, and they finally turned my mic on.
Your voice. You've got a great,
Thank
not
you.
only you banging on the bass really well, I know you can play guitar. Brother, you can sing.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
No, I mean that. And I didn't know at the time what an excellent songwriter you were, though.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've just I wrote a lot of really bad songs before they started getting decent, and I just stuck with it. I've really enjoyed it, and I've been writing with some new people here lately, and working on maybe a new EP in the future.
But let's go back to the past.
All right.
The Gator Man wants to revisit this town.
So that was the album I recorded with Byrne at his studio, 2015, I think, something like that.
In my opinion, one of the best CDs of original music to ever come out of Natchez.
Thanks, man. Byrne was kind of new, I think, he'd been recording like hip hop artists and things like that, and then live instruments was kind of something he was learning as he was going along, And I'd done a few studio things before, but I was pretty new to it as well, and so it was a learning process for everybody. And looking back at it and talking about it with him, after several years and a lot more studio time, and just kind of learning what we did over the last few years, and going, man, we did pretty well for just not really knowing what we were doing, and but it was a fun process, man. It was that triggered my writing again, because up until that point, I would write stuff here and there, but there's really no way to document it. I didn't have any way to record it, so there wasn't really any goal, any end game to it. So it was like, it wasn't something I really put pressure on myself to do.
Was this a collection of songs that you had just written, or did you have a CD in mind?
I wasn't really writing much at all at the time, and I had run into Travis Under the Hill, and he said, man, I've been working with this young guy named Byrne. He's got a studio on Homachita. It's really nice. You ought to come by there maybe next week if you're not busy and record a song. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And then I went home and picked up my guitar and realized I didn't have anything ready to record, but that, like I said, gave me an outlet, a reason to start writing. And so that kind of triggered everything, and I wrote a song over the next couple days called Carolina that's on that, and we went in there and did spent I think a whole evening just all night long in there recording, and really clicked well. Byrne and I did, and just really had a good time with it, and so that kind of lit a fire for me, and I started writing more and more and more. Oh, I miss you, Carolina. You got some of my better days, and the sun seemed to always shine on you, even in the rain. And I know that I can't stay, but Carolina, I will miss you just the same. Made my way home to Mississippi in the heat of the summertime. I took my blues and these worn out shoes under the hill to the riverside. And I hate to leave you, Mississippi, but you are on my mind. I made my way up to Arkansas. Been trying hard to find a job, playing in these local bars. Doing alright so far. Pour me another round, and maybe I will settle down one of these days. Oh, I miss you, Carolina. about some of my better days. The sun seemed to always shine on you, even in the rain. Yeah, I know that I can't stay, but Carolina, I will miss you just the same. Yeah, I know that I can't stay, but Carolina, I will miss you just the same.
A lot was built on that album.
Yes, yeah. For me, yeah, absolutely. It, like I said, it triggered an interest in writing again for me, and it gave me an outlet for that. And I was doing, with that album, I was opening for the original lineup. And then once that kind of broke apart, I was still writing with Travis some, and then on my own some too. And they would do demos, and so I would come in and play whatever instruments, you know. And so that, like I said, it built up this relationship with all of us, and kind of led to eventually me becoming part of the band. And then the next few years, you know, doing all the stuff we did with Bishop Gunn, which was a great ride.
What's going on with you? What do you have happening right now?
So I'm doing a writer's round on March 19th. It's a Thursday at Magnolia Cafe in St. Francisville with a guy named Andrew Fulton, who is a singer and songwriter for Magnolia Bayou. So he and I are going to do this kind of a song swap thing back and forth, you know, with original stuff and then some of our favorite, you know, old blues tunes, maybe some Howlin' Wolf or something like that.
Nice.
Do some things together, and so it should be a really fun time. You know, that kind of thing's coming around. It's becoming popular, and people enjoy that.
It's always nice as a songwriter to go to a place where people are there to hear your music.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you've been there before, just with a TV with a football game above you.
Yep.
You've been there.
But you know, it's a different feel to it, and you know, when you start doing stuff like little ticketed events and bringing people in, you know, and it becomes more of a showcase, and more about the artist and the storytelling side of things and the writing itself, and that's what's gets everybody involved, I think, in the first place.
Well, you've done a lot to bring new eyes and ears to what's going on around in our area.
Yeah, well, Natchez is, man, I love it. It's I grew up here, and it's just got such great stories, and even knowing about Natchez and knowing a lot of the history, it doesn't take much. I mean, I can find new stories about new characters, and you know, and I mean, the cemetery is a really cool place to check things like that out. I mean, once you start hearing about people and their stories, and then you go find where they're buried, you know, and it's just really a neat place. This song's kind of based on a couple different Natchez characters, but there's a headstone in the cemetery marked Louise the Unfortunate, and make sure I get this right, but the story I've heard is that she moved here to marry a wealthy Natchezian from somewhere in Eastern Europe, and I think she was kind of a mail order bride type situation, but he died probably from yellow fever before she ever got here. So anyway, she ended up, I think she died at a young age. She became a prostitute, you know, and then, or a lady of the night. I don't know what's appropriate to say for radio, but anyway, she got a job, and but she ended up passing away, and I don't think they even knew her last name, and some people in town paid for her funeral. She was a mail order woman for some wealthy man. She come all this way just to marry an American. That boat moved slow, it took her 20 weeks. By the time she arrived, he had long since died in his sleep. When she got to Natchez, Mississippi, up from Baton Rouge, and she's a heartbreaker, baby, gonna walk all over you. But all them other guys, they don't bother me, 'cause she ain't loving on them like she's been loving on me. That's why I spend all week trying to run that money down, and I see her every Friday night when the sun goes down. Falling all over myself, can't hardly breathe. Won't you help me, please? Yeah, meet me after midnight, Louise. We've been sneaking around the last couple of weeks. She says you better try your best not to fall in love with me. She gotta earn her living in between the sheets, and working for Nellie it sure beats walking the streets. So I spend all week trying to run that money down, and I see her every Friday night when the sun goes down. myself, I can't hardly breathe. Won't you help me, please? Meet me after midnight, Louise. Well, it's a quarter till midnight down on Rankin Street, not the place that we meet. I'm alone, but I won't be for long. I can smell her perfume on the evening breeze. Won't you meet me after midnight, Louise? Meet me after midnight, Louise. Yeah.
I see you're doing a little more locally. The Writers Round over St. Francisville, and you play at Route 61 every Wednesday.
Yep, that's
from 6 to 9 at the Oyster Bar.
Yep, that's a regular thing now these days. That's like a 3-hour deal, a couple breaks in there, and a mix of originals and covers, and it's a good time, man. It's a cool place out there, and you could really just pick anything off the menu, and it's going to be fantastic.
And you also play with Matt Willis and Fred Parker. Y'all got a
Yes.
trio.
Yep,
Be seen around town doing that.
We've done stuff together over the last few years. Just kind of it started just to kind of Matt had a gig booked or something, and he'd been jamming with some guys, and Fred had kind of come in and done some stuff, and he said, man, you want to come play some bass if you're in town, and I think Fred's going to be there, and just be the three of us, and so we threw together, it just kind of became this fun jam thing, and it was just a really, I've known Matt forever, and Fred too, and so, that kind of just became a thing that happened here and there when I'd come to town, and it's just a lot of fun, man. And
it keeps you off the road a little bit and gives you some time with a little special thing that happened recently in your life.
Yeah, about 7 months ago. Yeah, became a father. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Jude she's a mess. Everybody says that becoming a parent just changes everything, and that's the truth, man. I waited a long time. It's awesome, man. I can't imagine it without her.
I'm so happy for you, buddy. I really am. When I see those pictures, I'm just like, man, you've had quite a ride the last couple of years.
It's been pretty crazy, yeah, and making good connections.
I don't think you even realize the effect that y'all have had. I know there's some obvious things, but I think 10 years from now, we'll be able to look back and really see the impact that your music has had on
I hope so,
on
man.
everything.
That's the goal. It's all about the music and the love and showcasing something that we were all passionate about with Natchez. We want to see good things happen, and I think Arden coming on board for Balloon Race is great, and I'm gonna continue to keep up with him. He's a good friend. Just networking with people like that. So recently, a friend of mine named Wes Sheffield called me. He is a songwriter and a guitar player and a singer, and he's from Tupelo, but he lives in Muscle Shoals now, and he's at Fame Studios as a songwriter, and he's doing a project, and he asked me to come on. So I did some sessions with him playing bass in a project he's working on. And so that's another thing I'm trying to kind of feed into a little bit, is to pick up more recording sessions and try to maintain some connections in Nashville as well. And I would love to be more involved in the studio world as well. That's just it's a whole nother side of things, and it's a lot of fun.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, maybe about a private gig or to book you at their venue somewhere, what's the best way to find you? And if someone wanted to just spend a little money and get some of your music, how could they do that?
The This Town album is on Apple Music and Spotify, all those platforms. I do have hard copies of the CD left, and I'm taking them to shows, and so if you come out to the show, you can get a hard copy on CD. I'm on Facebook, Ben Lewis Music, and Instagram. Just follow me and like me or whatever.
You'll like them back, huh?
Yeah, I'll like you back.
Ben Lewis, folks, once again, I just want to thank you for coming in today. I can't wait to see what's in store for you.
We go way back.
Way back.
Way back.
I think the world of you. You're a good guy. All right, Ben, I'm going to let you switch around here, and I'm going to get a song out of you.
It's a shame we've got to leave this town. Factories have all closed down. It's clear to see everything's gone overseas. It's a shame we've got to leave this town. The hospitals have both sold out. We've all tried to leave, but always turn back around. There's nothing left for me to do
Sit here at this bar, have another drink with you. That won't get us very far. We've come a long way, but we still got a long way. It's a train that used to stop downtown. Now it won't even slow down. They just pass on through. Probably would too. It's a shame we've got to leave this town, but we can ride out with the windows down and our music loud. There's nothing left for me to do but sit here at this bar, have another drink with you. But that won't get us very far. We've come a long way, we've still got a long way. There's nothing left for me to do. Sit down here all day, have another drink or two. But I guess maybe that's okay. We've come a long way.
Hey, this is Ben Lewis. You're hanging out with the GatorMan on 104.7.